and discuss. I'm just going to go live on my other platforms, and then I'm going to start taking guests. I see Radiance is here. How's it going? Not sure what those burgers mean. Is that something new? I don't keep up with the youth today, so I'm not sure what the burgers mean. I'm not sure if that's something new or not. Hey, Bar Raid. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Black Atheist Rants, man. Shout out to Bar. Shout out to Bar. Shout out to Black Atheist Rants. Thanks so much for the Bar Raid. What up? Oh, the burgers equal bar. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. Because I do know over for on other social media sites, the burger is actually a bad thing. I'm not sure why, but hey, I appreciate the Bar Raid. Hey, appreciate that. Shout out to Black Atheist Man. Shout out to Bar. Keep dropping those. Thank y'all so much. All right, y'all. I'm live on my other platforms. So we're just gonna go ahead and wait around, see if there's anybody who would like to talk or anybody who would like to come up. Ariel in the building. Shout out to Ariel. Aaron in the building. Shout out to Aaron. Thank y'all so much. Radiance in the building. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to try to have a good conversation today. Let's see what we get today. Let's see what we get and who we get today. Hopefully we could have a good conversation. Yesterday was a bit slow, picked up at the end. I see over on my YouTube, there's already folks coming in. Hanji in the building. What's going on, Hanji? What's going on, Hanji? Hanji in the building. Hey, I appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all go ahead and start tapping that screen. Make sure we get to the FYP. Tap that screen. Make sure we get to the FYP. Over on YouTube, make sure y'all share this out as well. Over on YouTube, y'all make sure y'all share this out as well. We're just waiting for folks to come in. Y'all tap that screen, tap that screen. And we'll see who we get up here, y'all, because it has been a little slow past couple of days to get people in. We're going to see if we can get anybody today. Oops. Yo, what up, what up, what up? If you're watching me over from the Black Atheist Coalition, I appreciate you there. If you're watching me from Volsy Thoughts, my personal YouTube channel, I watch you. I thank you so much for watching me there. And if you're watching me over on a Deconstruction Junction, of course, thank you so much for watching me over on Deconstruction Junction. I appreciate you there. Thank y'all so much for sharing. Thanks y'all for tapping that screen. So right now we're just waiting for folks to come up. And once again, over on YouTube, the link to join is tiny.cc/VolseyLive. When I'm able to get back on in call-in studio, because I did have something called call-in studio, but it takes a lot to run it. All right. So if this ever becomes my full time, then I'll be able to do call-in studio. But for now, I ain't able to do call-in studio because it does cost a little bit. It costs a pretty penny to run call-in studio for you to have a call-in line and everything like that. Yeah, I think costs, boy. They cost. I just don't know. Appreciate y'all for being here, though. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, for some reason, yesterday, I'm not sure why, but the audio kept on getting bleeped. I'm not sure how to take that out, but I'll figure that out in a second. All right, we're gonna go ahead and talk to Apostle. Apostle, how's it going? Are you at least 18 And which number did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm 18, and I want to talk about 4.
Number 4. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. What evidence do you think that there is one?
Yeah, I would say some pretty significant evidence would be, well, firstly, I think without God, it'd be hard to explain why there would be any contingent objects at all.
Why would there be
Right?
any contingent object at all? What does that mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, like objects that otherwise could not exist. Like it's possible for some objects not to exist. Those kind of things. Like one example would be like the universe, for example. Like I would say the universe is like a contingent object.
Yeah, sure, we can go by that, right? The universe is a contingent object, but I don't think that means that the like contingent, you mean like it depended on something else to start it?
Not precisely. It would be something that would. It's something that's possible to not exist.
Something that's possible to not exist. Uh why I'm not sure. Something that's possible to not exist. I'm not sure if that makes sense. What do you think is possible to not exist? Like myself and
Yeah,
you?
like yeah, yeah, like me or you, or like another example would be like a mug. We could conceive that a mug was never made, right? That's something we could conceive of.
We can conceive, yeah, that's for somehow, some way humans never invented cups. Yeah, sure. So, but the thing is about that is that I'm not sure how that leads us to a God.
Yeah, it would lead us to a god, at least under classical definitions, because it seems like an omnipotent god would be the only clear explanation for why certain things could be created, or why certain things in the first place. Yeah, like the universe.
But the universe doesn't necessarily need a God for it to be here. Like existence itself doesn't need a supernatural explanation. I don't see why it would.
Yeah, I would need a supernatural explanation because say we didn't have a god,
Mm-hmm.
then we'd have a problem where it seems the universe would be dependent on some other contingent thing, and then that contingent thing would be dependent on another contingent thing, etc.
Doesn't that
We
apply
never
to
get to like
classical?
an yeah, no,
Why
it
not?
wouldn't. Well, I'm not sure if purely actualized objects or necessary objects would need any sort of prior.
Because
That's not really coherent.
that applies to the universe too. It's a necessity. It's a thing that is necessary for it to exist. Basically, you can say this.
Wait,
Like what you apply to, like the necessity that you apply to whatever God that you're talking about, you can apply it to the universe, and there'll be no contradiction there.
well, I would say that there would be a contradiction. Well, at least, well, actually, there wouldn't, but in the definition itself, sure. But I mean, there would be a pretty big contradiction in the sense that it would be like a problem. Like the reason it would be a problem would be like, well, we conceive of something that's far different. For example, instead of physical matter, we have mental matter, right? That's obviously a different kind of thing than the universe.
What do you mean by mental matter? Like our brains, like our brain matter,
Like idealism, like Plato.
like ideologies that we come up with, or
No. Okay. Have you heard of idealism?
probably not in the way that you're using it.
Yeah, it's a view which says that like the kind of thing we experience is made up by our minds. It's not actually like real. Like for example, if I like sleep in my bed, right? Me sleeping in my bed isn't like real. It's just a product of my mind.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Yeah, you could say it's nonsense, but I'm saying it's certainly logically possible. There's no internal contradiction.
I mean, yeah, we can't prove that we're not a brain in a vat plugged into the matrix, sure, but it's like we don't get anywhere by just kind of assuming that, right?
Well, wait, I'm not assuming it's true. Idealism is obviously false, but I'm saying we could conceive of a world in which isn't made up of physical matter, but instead mental matter. Like all the objects that we could conceive are instead a product of some mind. In that sense, right? If we could conceive of that kind of thing, then it seems there are some possible worlds where a universe does not exist. One would be like an idealist world.
The problem is that just because we can conceive of something doesn't make it true. I can conceive of a world where wait. So like, if just because we can conceive of an ideal world, that doesn't make what you're saying to be true. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it seems that doesn't really get us any. It seems to be nonsense, because I can conceive of the blue genie of the lamp in some possible world, but that doesn't mean that the blue genie of the lamp actually exists. Right?
It's just proving that the universe is contingent. That being that it's possible for it to otherwise not exist, right? Because we could conceive of a world which is possible but isn't the universe, right? Because it's made up of mental matter.
The same thing applies to your God, though. I can conceive of a world where that God doesn't exist.
Well, first, I'm not sure if it's even coherent to apply like objects with omnis as being like in a modal system. But even if we do like accept that, I'm not sure if that would be coherent, because under classical theism, I would agree that God is is equal to things like logic and such, and we exclude logic from being necessary. I'm not sure we can get any coherent world at all.
Right, but that's just because you're just defining it that way. I can do the same thing for the universe.
You define the universe as logic?
Yeah, you can do the same exact thing, because the thing is simply you can't define things into existence, right? So it's like if you just say I define God as everything, or I define God as the basis of logic. Yeah, so what? That doesn't demonstrate anything.
Wait, it does. Wait, it would demonstrate something. Well,
no, it wouldn't.
It's not defining. Well, the more accurate version of the contingency argument is we're just saying that the kind of thing in which we describe as necessary would be the same thing we describe as God. I'm not. I think I described it really bad earlier, but
right. No, I get that. What I'm saying is that we can do the same thing to for the universe. I describe the universe as unnecessary. There won't be no contradiction there either.
Wait, do you think the universe is? Do you agree that the universe is physical?
The universe is physical.
You agree it's not abstract?
Not as far as we know.
So, how would it contain like logic?
Logic is basically a description that we made up. Like logic is not a thing that exists ethereally somewhere out there somewhere. We made that up. We saw phenomena in the universe and we put descriptions on them, and those descriptions are what logic is.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I would say that logic is real.
I'm not. I'm thinking it's real in the sense that we're describing a real phenomenon, right? But there's no way that you can look under a microscope or somewhere in a telescope out in the universe and you see a big paper that says these are the laws of logic. That's not what happens. We're simply describing what we see out in the universe. That's really all it is.
Well, I mean, obviously, like logics aren't like physical objects, or there's not something you can like visualize. I'm just saying that I would say that they're real independent of our minds. Like without the human mind, logic would still be real.
Without the human mind, like non-contradiction would still be there, right? Like without us there, like things won't exist at the same time. I'm talking about the description of it though. Like the phenomena will still be there, but not the description.
No, well, like what? Wait.
Laws of logic are what we describe. Like the third laws of logic, the law of non-contradictions, excluded middle, law of identity, stuff like that. Those are descriptions of what we see in the universe. Without us, the phenomena will still be there of something existing and not existing at the same time. That contradiction, that wouldn't be there. Things will still be non-contradictory if humans didn't exist. But the description of it, non-contradiction, that description, that word I just used, that without us. The phenomena is still there, but not the word, not description.
Wait. Yeah, I'm saying the phenomenon necessarily exists without a mind. If you're saying it's like descriptive, then that would necessitate that there's a mind, in which describes it via these rules that otherwise don't really exist, right? They're oh Lord, I forgot the word.
Why am I beeping? I don't get what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I don't hear it. I think it's just audience.
It's probably just the audience. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I did see something about TikTok said there's a new thing you can do where it bleeps out your cuss words automatically, but for some reason, like I don't know how to turn that off. I have no clue why that is, y'all. We're just gonna deal with it for now, y'all. I do apologize. We're just gonna have to deal with it for now because I have no idea why I'm bleeping. Like I didn't turn it on. I did see it when I went live on TikTok before, but I made sure that it was off. I'm not sure why it's. I'll figure it out. I'll do something here. I'll figure it out. But yeah. What I'm saying is that when it comes to the laws of logic, right there, they're descriptive. But we made up the description. We just made up the description of a phenomenon that we see. Are you saying that the phenomena itself is descriptive?
Well, no, I'm saying it's like real. So like, well, let's think about it like this. If we talk about mathematics, people who think that mathematics aren't real, they would say something like, well, we could say 2 + 2 is 4, but we're not describing something that's already like a law within the universe. It's just how we perceive objects or the organization of objects, right? So like,
correct.
When we say there's 2 celestial bodies, the number 2 isn't really like describing. They're not describing. It's not really like a property of reality or like the property of these planets or the solar system, etc. Mm-hmm. It's just how we coherently describe them, what makes sense to us. Right. I'm saying that that's not what logic is. I'm saying logic is like independently true and coherent. So like, for example, a planet is necessarily a planet even if we have no language, right? It's not going to change of being that property or being of that thing.
Yeah, exactly. A planet's still going to be a planet, but the way that the word planet doesn't exist and the way that we describe it doesn't exist. But yeah, sure, it's still going to be like a rock out in space, right?
Well, yeah, just describing like identity, right? That like a planet would still have the identity of being a planet without, a mind in order to describe what it means for something to be a planet. So, right. I mean, it's different from, say, mathematics. I wouldn't say logic is our language. I'd say like every object necessarily follows a set of rules, these 3 set of rules that it can't otherwise break.
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, like, number one, I don't see how that leads us to a God. This is just a consequence of physics, as far as we see. Crap, did he get a phone call? He might have gotten a phone call. But y'all, go ahead and keep liking the live and sharing it, y'all. Please let me know if I bleep again. I'm trying to figure out how to turn that off. I really don't know how to turn it off. I don't know why I keep bleeping, but something is going on. But if I didn't beep, then cool. But if I did, please let me know in the comments if I beep again, because it's like, I don't know why that is. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, let's get back to Apostle. Apostle, you still there? Just waiting to see if he got a call or something. Yeah, Kay, I did see your request. I just saw it a few seconds ago. I'm gonna bring you. I was just taking opposition for the moment, and then I'll bring some more people up. All right. For the person who's asking on my YouTube, I'm on both. I'm both on TikTok and on YouTube. You'll be able to join me on from the YouTube. You'll be able to join me from the link that I pinned. You'll be able to see me from the link.
All right, I got a call from my roommate. Yeah, how to relate to God when we talk about the 3 laws of logic is more or less just talking about, well, if certain things would have to be necessary, and if these things are real, then I would say that there must be a container or like an abstract object would contain these like facts, like these abstract facts.
I might not have understood what you're saying. Can you say that one more time, please?
I would say there have to be like a container of these abstract facts. At least there would have to be some object in which is equal to them.
There'll be a container of abstract facts?
Wait, sorry, what?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. You said there's a container of abstract facts?
Yeah, like necessary things.
Okay. Oh, okay, guys. I do see it now. The auto beep is on. Shit. And I can't turn it off while I'm live. So I'm gonna have to do a reset, y'all. I'm gonna have to do a reset because I can't turn off the beeping while I'm live. So give me a second. I'll turn that off in a moment. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a reset right after I'm done with Apostle. I'm gonna go ahead and do a reset so we can like take off that auto beep. All right. So yeah, I know it didn't beep now. It's just that when I say as or anything like that, it beeps for some reason. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Apostle, I'm sorry about that, man. I'm gonna need you to explain that one more time. Say that one more time, please. You said that these facts have to exist within an abstract mind.
I would say mind is a good description, but the reasoning for this would be like, well, if there's multiple necessary things, let's say we're not even talking about God. Mm-hmm. Let's say there's multiple abstract things. Let's say there's 10 abstract facts. Let's say that that are necessary for things to be coherent. If that's the case, well, it seems much more parsimonious for there to be one object which contains all these traits than for these traits to be individually real.
Why? That doesn't seem to follow so for me.
Well, if they're like simple objects, say if they're equal to each other within the same type of object, meaning like say God, it'd be much more parsimonious than saying all these exist necessarily and they all contain rules for coherency. If it was just contained within one object, I would say that's more parsimonious because we're positing less kinds of objects.
I'm still trying to. I'm sorry. I'm having difficulty understanding what you mean by this is because it sounds like you're saying, these objects that exist, they have to have rules that was given to them by some arbiter. But can those simply rules just be the laws of physics? Like I'm really having trouble following.
Well, it doesn't have to be an arbiter. I'm just saying that let's say there's like at least 3 basic rules for something to be coherent. There being the 3 laws of logic. So like law of identity, A equals A, non-contradiction, and excluded middle, right? So if these are all 3 rules, but it would be much more parsimonious, at least we would be positing much less objects if there was just one being, right? That being God, which contains all of these. And that would be an equality, at least under divine simplicity.
Right, but none of this has to be the case, though. These things can still be coherent without a God. So it's why would a God be necessary? It seems that you're putting a God into this like arbitrarily. These things could still exist under natural processes. So. Or be coherent in natural processes. So what's the?
It would be coherent if they're individual. I'm not saying it's not incoherent for them to be individual like facts. I'm saying that it would be more likely for them to be like just one object instead of 3 different objects.
Why?
Because I mean, like I would say like less. If there's less of something, let's say 2 theories have the same like evidential value. So like. It's like let's say we take this case. Let's say a package gets dropped off, and either someone stole the package or they didn't give it to you properly, right? And so your package is gone, right? Now, it's certainly definitely possible that someone stole it. Let's say you live in a big city, and that's probable. But it's also probable, given Amazon and its terrible shipping, that they just made an error. In this case, it seems these 2 are more probable, but maybe one's less probable because it posits more things. For example, Amazon getting it wrong, maybe one, right? Maybe it's easier to accept that that Amazon did not get it wrong because it has so much systems in place in order to not have these issues. And it's much more likely in a big city that someone could have stolen it, especially when you have so many neighbors. So it seems much more easier to accept that because you have to accept a lot of more issues, or not issues, more things to say that, Amazon just got it wrong.
Okay.
It would be kind of similar to that, where like it's much easier to accept one thing which contains all these facts than to accept all these facts are individually real.
What? But the thing is, I'm not seeing the symmetry tree breaker. Why is it harder to accept that these are all individual things that are facts instead of saying that they're all contained in one thing and that one thing contained all the facts? Because that one thing that contains all the facts has a lot of assumptions too. Like, how do you know that one thing even exists? Where did that one thing come from? Why should we where like there's more questions to ask even after that, right? So like why not just accept these are all individual things? I don't see a reason to put them all under one thing.
Well, under divine simplicity, they're not like individually real within one thing. That's a bad description I gave. I said earlier that they're all equal. That's what I said. So like they're all equal to the object. So, I mean, when we describe something like God, it's just going to be equal to the different laws of logic. So, really, we're just positing one object here.
That sounds very confusing. I really don't know what that means. I'm not even trying to be rude. Like because it sounds like it's not. It's like why
Catholic theology.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
Catholic theology. Yeah.
Okay, I know I get that it's Catholic theology, but it's like it doesn't really lead to a God. It's simply just asserting to me that this is the fact, this is the case, without any real evidence that that's true.
Well, it would come from establishing that like logic is real, and then the evidence for accepting God would be that it's much easier. It's like much more parsimonious for it to be just God instead of individual facts.
When you say individual facts, what do you mean? Like this hat is white is a fact, and this bottle of water is empty is a fact. Are you saying that those two facts are not real unless God is real?
No. Well, I'm saying that it's much more likely for there to be one abstract thing which is equal to all of them, for all of the laws of logic, all three of them to be real. Like them to be individual abstracts, like individual things, I guess is a better way to put it.
I mean, but it really doesn't. That doesn't follow to me.
Well, you're familiar with parsimony, right?
Like something being simpler, or
yeah,
sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, it sounds simple, sure, but there's still a lot of assumptions being made, and I don't see a reason to assume those things, because we can replace what you're saying about God with blue genie of the lamp, and it's still the same thing.
Wait, sorry, repeat that.
What I'm saying is that you can replace, like, your conclusion of God can be replaced with genie of the lamp, and it's still the same thing.
I don't really even know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Everything that you're saying, right? With everything that you're saying, right? When you conclude, you're saying that that like your conclusion ends with God, or at least the Catholic version of God, right? Everything, because of everything that you posited before. What I'm saying is that you can posit all those things and simply put blue genie of the lamp, and it will still be consistent. So what will be the difference between the God that you're positing and the blue genie of the lamp, if you could still reach the same conclusion?
Well, I'm just saying, if you mean the genie of the lamp to be the same thing as the God I describe, as in like some divine simply and equal to all necessary things. I mean, you could call it a genie, but I mean, you're just describing God. I don't think it matters.
I'm describing
arguably that genie is still God, whether you call it a genie or not.
Right, but my the one that I'm describing is Olodumare, the god of West African Yoruba religion.
That's what you're describing.
Yeah, like you can put all of those traits to any god at all, and where would that lead us?
Well, this argument isn't to prove which God is true. It's just to prove that there is a God.
Okay, cool. But so this would be to show that there is a God. But the thing is, I still don't see how it follows, because you're simply saying that this is true because it's simpler. So?
Well, it's just more probable that it's simpler. I think we should agree with more probable theories.
But there's no evidence for it. So how do we get to it being probable?
That would be the evidence, though.
Huh?
But that would be the evidence, though.
No, evidence is not just philosophical mumbo jumbo. Evidence is actually something that we can demonstrate. What do we do?
You mean referring to like a scientific process?
No, what I'm trying to say is that when we bring up evidence for something, right, we just don't argue that something is true. We actually have to show some sort of demonstration that it is. What do we do? Otherwise, just your opinion.
I'm not sure what you mean by demonstration. Like, if it coincides with things we take to be true, and like other theories don't coincide with things we take to be true, I'm not sure why we should assume the other theory, which doesn't.
I mean, but the thing is, you're simply assuming that these things are true. You're just asserting it. How do we show it to be true?
I'm showing it to be true by it following things like parsimony or explanatory theory or like explanatory virtues.
Right, but parsimony can also mean that there's no God at all. That's also simple. So
I actually think that's like inversely true. I think it's actually much more expensive to say that there is no God.
No, it's not. It's just simple. There's no God at all. So everything we have is a natural consequence.
Yeah. Well, if there's no God, I would say that then we have to have an infinite chain of causes, which is, I would say, infinitely more expensive.
Which can apply to your God as well, because what caused that one?
How would that apply to God?
Does God exist eternally?
Yeah.
So he's also an infinite regress.
Would he be an infinite regress?
He exists eternally, so he's an infinite regress.
He's not. He has no prior. There wouldn't be like a prior to say there's an infinite regress. That would be like nonsensical.
So he exists eternally, right? So he goes all the way into the past and all the way into the future.
Oh, if you mean not eternally, that's not even coherent.
All right. So what
I thought you meant like eternally. I thought you mean like eternally, like necessarily, like God must exist.
Because that's what
Christianity is. But Christianity and like the actual philosophy of it says that like God's necessary.
Yeah. So God necessarily exists, right?
Yeah. He doesn't like exist in time though. To say like
wait, he doesn't exist,
God,
but he doesn't exist within time. So how does he do anything? Because doing things takes time.
No, I wouldn't say so. Like we can think of logical causes.
Causes take time.
Example, well, wait. Well, not necessarily. Like, say we could say something like this. Would you agree that, like mathematical laws that we take to be true, like logically cause 2 + 2 = 4 rather than 5?
Yeah, those are just axioms that we made up. But I'm not talking about like axioms.
I'm talking about causes.
Right, I'm not talking about axioms. I'm talking about like actions, like doing something. Like me doing this takes time.
Yeah, like a mind. If things necessarily follow from like a mind, it's still the same as a logical cause.
All right, so God is basically like math.
Yeah, like math for the universe.
Okay, so
it's like a math law.
Okay, so if God is math invented or discovered?
It's discovered.
It's both.
Wait, no, I wouldn't agree with that.
Who wasn't calculus invented?
The rules of calculus, yeah, but I mean the method in which we like use calculus is like, I would say that is like something we invent. But
yeah,
when we talk about like axioms about math, no, I would say those are things we discover. I think they're independent of our mind.
We discovered the number 2?
Yeah,
Who did? Where is it?
Well, the number 2 isn't like aware.
Okay, so right. So where is it? Where's the number 2 then?
Where is it? It's number 2 is abstract. Doesn't have a place.
So how did we discover it? Because we make up abstract things.
We discovered it for example, by language, right? So like the use of language helps produce ideas like, well, there are 2 cans in front of me, right? Or there are 2 bottles in front of me, something like that.
Right. So the thing is, we made up numbers. Instead of saying this is one object, this is another object, this is another object, we just say 3 objects because like we wanted to save energy. But to say that we discovered the number 2 is kind of insane. We made up numbers in order to save energy. That's really what it is, a consequence of language, right?
Well, I don't agree with that. If it was just like something we invented, we would predict a lot more like errors, even with like today's mathematics. But
there are errors. It seems that there's a bunch of problems within math. Like there's the uncertainty principle or something like that. There's a whole bunch of proofs in math that have no evidence. I mean, not evidence, but are that we can't figure out at all because of the issues that exist in it. like or the most famous one is the three body problem. Yeah, I mean, so or not, that's not the most famous, but it's one of the most famous, the three body problems. So it's like I'm trying to kind of figure this I'll figure this out here. But hold on. Actually, Apostle, we are actually out of time. We're actually over time. But let's do this. I do appreciate you being up. Go ahead and come back next time. I do these Thursdays through Sundays. All right, you can come back next time, especially on Sunday when I go with Black Atheist Rants. All right, come back Sunday.
All right, yeah, you have a great day.
You too. All right, guys, I do appreciate y'all being here. Hey, Timmy Beer, you asked me which leftist policies, and like I said, you can go ahead and come on up, and we can go ahead and have a discussion on that. If you're watching me over from the Black Atheist Coalition, once again, I appreciate you. The link is pinned. Oh, I didn't pin the link. My bad. Over on the Black Atheist Coalition, I didn't pin the link. The link is now pinned. Over on the Deconstruction Junction, the link is also pinned there. You can join me tiny.cc/Volsi Live. It's right up here if you would like to know. And if you're watching me from Volsi Thoughts, once again, thank you so much. I appreciate you there. Tiny.cc/Volsi Live. You can join me there. I just pinned the link. So if anybody wants to join, you can go ahead and join me so we can speak. Gritty, how's it going, Gritty? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
What's going on, man? Yep, I'm over 18, and I want to talk about number 2.
Yes, systemic racism is real. Do you disagree, and why?
I think I disagreed with it. I don't really believe that. I mean, I know for a fact that I wasn't educated enough. I do believe that it's real. I just wanted to ask you a few questions, like, because I was on another panel, a different live, and I don't mean to bring up another live or anything like that, but my argument was that human beings are human beings. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. We should be able to get past all of this stuff. And right away, I was told that it's either I'm not well in the head, or I got called racist because I was
well, let's start there. Let's start there. Sure, human beings are human beings, and we should be able to get past this. This color shouldn't matter. Your color shouldn't matter. None of this should matter. The issue is that we're not at that point yet in humanity, and because we're not at that point, we still have to deal with things such as racism, discrimination, sexism, misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, et cetera, et cetera. All of those things we still have to deal with. So because of that, we have these type of conversations, and we talk about systemic racism being real. Now, I think what's going on is that what you were saying was unhelpful. Yeah, sure. We all agree that we should go ahead and get past these things, but we don't get past these things by ignoring systemic racism, do we?
No.
Right.
No,
exactly.
But here's my take now, though. Like, okay, so if systematic racism is never going to end, if it's just going to be a constant fight all the time, and so I asked one of them on the panel, it's like, so, I mean, like, what do we do from here? Do we just, because I'm not going to stop treating black people like they're not people.
Well, the thing is, that's not what anybody is saying. No one is saying that it's going to last forever. We're saying that we have to address it and put in certain policies and address the people who still believe in these things, who are in power. That's what we said. We didn't say that is always going to be the case. I truly believe that in the year 2100 or at least 2150, racism is not going to matter anymore, right? So it's like we're gonna be able to get through it. But one of the ways that we have to do that is, of course, like, get rid of capitalism. That's a whole nother topic. But systemic racism at that point, number 2, it is real. What do we do about it is a different topic. I think that there needs to be a series of not only government policies, but also unpacking of racial biases, specifically within white America. You see what I'm saying? So that all these things have to happen in order for us to get through systemic racism. We're not saying that, it's always going to be a thing. We're probably not going to see the end of systemic racism, but perhaps our grandchildren will. Make sense?
Yeah. So, because like I started to question myself because the way I was answering these questions, because I was obviously misinformed. I wasn't taking all of Black history on my back like a backpack and carrying it all over the place. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's almost like what he was saying is like people are indoctrinated. White people are indoctrinated, and in the way he was saying it, it was almost like white people are given like racist starter packs.
No, the thing is about living in America is that this is what I've always said, right? In my heart of hearts, even though a lot of people disagree with me on this, I don't think most white people are hateful racists. They're ignorant racists, meaning that they're racially ignorant. You know what I mean? And when I say racially ignorant, I mean the fact that they don't know a lot about Black history. They don't know what Black culture is and what it entails. They don't realize the bias that they unconscious bias that they may have because of stereotypes that was given to them. It's ignorant racism. It's diet racism. You see what I'm saying? Like the whole thing about, if you're not committing any crimes, you have nothing to worry about. So therefore, don't worry about the police harassing you, while forgetting that we could just be chilling and the police harasses us. You see what I'm saying? So these are one of the things that are unconscious and unconsciously biased, because you're assuming that the Black person must have done something for the police to harass them. Because why else would that be the case? Because it's complete ignorance over the criminal justice system on how racist that it is. You see what I'm saying? So most white people in America are that way. They're just ignorantly racist instead of being straight up, I hate Black people racist. You know what I mean? Now, here's the thing. That's still racism. Yeah, I mean, it is still racism, but it's built on something that's not actually your fault. It was just how the education system and how society runs. It's not your fault the way society runs that way, but it is your responsibility to unpack it. Make sense?
Yeah. So I'm like, my question was this. I said, okay, so forgive me for not being informed, being ignorant of our past, but because I don't really see people or other different races as other different races, like at this point, I think a lot of the world has kind of moved forward into at least being able to accept people as people. Like, what do we do? Not like, forget the political side of it. Forget the past. Like, what do we do today? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Number one, I would disagree with that. The majority of the world has not moved on. If someone like me, I would not be safe in northern Italy. That's just the case. That's just the sad truth of it, right? I would not be safe in northern Italy. And right now, I'm not sure if you know about it, but Chinese social media, because they have a whole other different social media over there. Over in Chinese social media, there are entire profiles of volunteers who go to Africa and abuse children. And these people have millions of views, millions of followers, and they find it funny. Yeah, I mean, there's a trend right now going on in Asia of dolls that are like, the stretchy dolls, like the Stretch Armstrong that we used to have as kids. Yeah, there's a trend over there right now in Asia of dolls that look like me, that are dark skinned and Black, and they're used as stress dolls. You get to beat them up, stretch them, all those sort of stuff, right? And when people went to the people and said, like, why are y'all doing this? How come you made the doll white? I mean, how come you made the doll Black and not any other color? Is because they said if it was another color, meaning if it was white, it would be seen as cruel. Making it a Black doll makes it less human. You see what I'm saying? That's a thing going on over in Asia right now. So, like, when you say that most of the world you think has moved past it, it really hasn't. I'm not safe in Italy. I'm not safe in Spain. I'm not safe in Saudi Arabia. I'm not safe in China. I'm not safe in Japan. You could go on Twitter right now and see how Japanese people talk about Black people. They talk about us like we're Viltrumites. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really crazy what's going on out in the world today.
That's not true. I live in Japan, and that's not true.
Yeah. Sure. I've met too many Japanese racists to believe that. I'm sorry, but like, yeah,
I've been here for 10 years, man. It's not true. What you're saying.
Cool. It's not your turn yet. But yeah, and not only that, in America, sundown towns are still a thing. In America, I mean, do you know what a sundown town is? I'm not sure.
I don't.
A sundown town is that if you're a black person and it's this time of night, the sun is going down, you better leave, because if you don't leave, you will be lynched. And they still exist. I grew up in Florida, right? I'm from Miami, Florida. Miami Beach was a sundown town. A lot of people don't know that, because people think of Miami Beach as like the club and all things like that. It was a sundown town.
Yeah. Was that like way back in the day, or was it like during your like youth days, or
it happened in sundown towns officially on paper should have ended in the 60s. Miami Beach right now is not a sundown town anymore, but Miami Beach hides a lot of this. The city of Miami hides a lot of this racism. I'll say it that way. The city of Miami hides a lot of its racism, but places like Vidor, Texas, places like Arkansas, it's somewhere in Arkansas, right? Arkansas, it's called the most racist city in America. Let me look this up. Most racist city in America. Harrison, Arkansas. That's also a sundown town. Like I can't go there. Boston is one of the most racist cities in America. I've been coming GA. That's a sundown town as well. These things still exist. That's what I'm trying to say. Get what I'm saying, Gritty?
Yeah. Damn. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like,
what do we do?
It was almost. What's that?
You asking what do we do?
No. Well, it was almost like it was almost like a bittersweet feeling, you know. Like I was so uncomfortable on the other panel because I was literally just talking to these people as if I was just talking to people, right? And they were like, wait a minute, right? Before you even begin thinking that you could come over here and basically just be who you are, right? First thing you need to know is that because I think the prompt was, why, if there's a God, how come God didn't stop racism? And I was like, man, like there's a lot of bad things that go on in the world right now, and there's a lot of it none of it has to do with God. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that do bad things, like in the name of God, right? They take Christianity and they go open up the church and for different reasons. Like God never told them to go do that, right?
Yeah, sure.
But
I mean, the question becomes though, like if God is all powerful, benevolent, loving, all this, et cetera, clearly racism and the things that I'm talking to you about, like sundown towns, viewing black people as less than humans, clearly those will go against being loving, right? But he doesn't stop them. So the question then becomes, if God is this loving, benevolent person, why doesn't he stop discrimination? Why does he stop racism? Where was he during the slave trades? You know what I mean? These are actual legitimate questions that we should be asking ourselves. But I'm not sure if you wanted to talk about number 2 or want to talk about number 4, because you do agree with number 2, right? Systemic racism is a thing; it does exist.
Yeah. Before we move on to that one, though, I think I'm pretty much cooked after prompt number 2. But I just wanted to say this: he did say something that kind of like flicked a little spark in my head, and it was that, okay, so things might not change for another 80 years, 74 or 5 years or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's all. None of us are going to be alive at that time. So because things are not going to change until then, right? Like what are we supposed to? Yeah, like what are we supposed to do then?
Yeah, number one,
right? Because we're never going to reach that point.
Right.
Like
unless technology gets better and they give us a pill to live for 100 years. But yeah, number one, I think we have conversations like this, right? We teach each other, we educate each other about these conversations. Number 2, we go ahead and put in policies in place. I'm talking about strong, stringent policies need to put in place. Me, in my opinion, one of the number one policies that I would do is that if a police officer is caught being racist or saying something racially incendiary, anything like that, they're immediately fired and can't be a police officer anywhere in America ever. Right? Like that career for you was gone. You know what I'm saying? Like that career for you is cut off forever. You see what I'm saying? So that would be one of the things I would put it immediately. I would also put it immediately that if a company is shown to be systemically racist, they lose their license. You know what I mean? Like you cannot operate as a company anymore. You feel me? If you're going out there like discriminating against certain groups of people, there's no need for you to be a company. I'm not sure why the other person dropped out. I'm not sure what the person dropped out, but I was going to get to your the time was just not up yet. But that's one of the other things that I would put in, right? But these are just policies. But as far as socially, what we need to do is we need to understand and educate each other and be aware of our conscious bias, have more of these type of conversations, and let people know. We need to educate also on history, because there's a lot of things about Africa that people still don't know. For example, the Mali Empire. I didn't know about the Mali Empire until after college. I didn't know about the Great Walls of Benin until a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people still today don't know about the Great Walls of Benin. The Great Walls of Benin was one of the greatest earthworks that was ever created, and it was created by Black African people, and most people do not know about it. You see what I'm saying? I think exactly. I think the writing systems that existed in Africa need to be promoted more and told to people more. Like there are universities in Africa before Europe, and people don't know about these type of things. You know what I'm saying? So I think these type of education would be a lot more conducive, and these will lay the groundworks for more policies to come through. Gritty, I think Jesse wanted to ask you some questions, if you don't mind answering them, because I've been talking for a while. Jesse, go ahead. Well, we do have about 4 minutes left. Go ahead, Jesse, ask him what you want to ask him, and then we can move on. Jesse, before you do that, I promise I'm gonna put some more time on clock for you. Zozo, my God, in my language, that's crazy. Zozo, how's it going, Zozo? I'm just gonna call you Lumen, because in my language, Zozo is something else. But Lumen, are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
Yes, number 1 and number 4.
Number 1 and number 4. Okay. Stay on mute for me, real quick, Lumen. Yeah, Zozo in Haitian Creole means something else. It's euphemism for what husbands give their wives. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm not calling him Zozo for. I'm calling him Lumen. But Jesse, I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes on the clock. Go ahead, Jesse. What did you want to talk to Gritty about?
So I have a couple questions. You asked, you said you don't have you're not very well educated in history of people outside of the white culture. So what have you done to take steps to rectify that in your own life so that you can be part of the change?
No, I am informed of it. You know, I think everyone kind of grows up with knowing I think everybody grows up with knowing the basics, right? With how history went down, all the horrible things that not only Black people, but different races too, but mainly Black people kind of like went through from the government, white people, and how all of that was going on. But I think that my only thing that I can contribute to society, since it is so bad, is just be a regular person. I think all races are one. There's nothing that anyone can say that's going to get that out of my head, right? Like,
so wait, well, hold on. What do you mean by just being a normal person? Like, but
treat everyone.
Here's the thing: you can think that the human race exists without negating the struggles that other races and ethnicities have had to go through, and that we still have suppression when it comes to that.
No, say it again. Maybe explain it a different way. I don't know what you mean.
So you keep saying like you only see everyone as one race. Well, when you say that, do you understand that a lot of us here, you negate the struggle that I go through currently, or that my family has gone through, that my culture has gone through? Do you get that? That's the inherent problem with the idea of, oh no, we're all just one race and different races don't exist, and why people find that
if I don't, I know what you mean now. But if I don't have that worldview, if I don't have that mentality, doesn't that constrict me from being genuine with you?
No, this is 2026. If you don't have that worldview and you don't have that understanding, you don't have it by choice. We live in America. Like, look, I could get, if you're in certain countries, I'm a global person. I've been all over the world. I get in certain areas of certain countries, you may not have that access, but we have that access. So there is zero reason that mindset should even exist.
For me?
For anyone.
I shouldn't go on about my life as if we're all one race, treat people regular, treat people equal. I should not go about my life.
You shouldn't negate the history that we've gone through, and you shouldn't negate that it exists now and that we are all just this one perfect species and nobody's treated differently. Systemic racism is an oppression of our government. It's not an oppression of just one culture. It is that culture that influences the government and holds people down. So to say like, hey, I just go through my life like we're all one race, what you're doing is pacifying the issue. You're a supporter. When you're silent, you're a supporter. If you see a woman being raped and you do nothing, you're just as guilty as the rapist in my eyes, right? So if you were saying you see systemic racism exists, which is what I think you're saying, but your idea of it is I should just go about my life and live like we're perfectly fine, then you're part of the problem.
I mean, well, there's like, that's the reason why I came up on this panel, and that's the reason why I picked number 2. It's like, if the systematic the structure that we have, if it's really that bad, then it's almost disrespectful, right? It's almost disrespectful to treat people normal now, right?
But you keep saying if, so do you believe it exists or you don't?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so then it's not an if, so it exists, right? So then what is your responsibility in fixing it?
I don't think I'm obligated to wear a cape in any scenario, right?
Nobody said wear a cape.
Well,
you don't have to wear a cape.
Well, you know what I mean when I say that. I don't.
No, I don't, because I know what wear a cape means, and I'm not asking you to be some superhuman and do some crazy things.
Did ask me this,
I'm asking you, what is your responsibility?
Yeah, what is my responsibility? What am I doing to change that? As if I'm obligated to because I'm not black.
No, you're obligated to, but you're the one who says. Hold on, wait. You're the one who just said we're one race. So if we're one race, if you're saying we're one race, and you see oppression, then you have an obligation because you're part of that race. So your argument is breaking down right now. Either you see us as a whole, or you see us as separate entities, and you understand that we are separate people, and that there is groups of people that have faced oppression.
We have different history, and some of that is still happening today. I do know that, right? Like I said, there's some obvious things that are going on around the world still, right? So if you're not going to wear a cape, the best you should be able to do, right, is keep that mentality that everyone is still one race and we should all treat each other as if we would treat ourselves.
Gritty, let me ask you a question. How about educating others and getting educated on it yourself? Like, for example, remember all the things that I told you about, right? You were unaware of it. So now that you are aware of it, why not look more into it? Look up redlining. How does redlining affect us today? Look up the criminal justice system. Look up medical apartheid. Look up to see, like, in the 13th Amendment, when they made an exclusion for abolishing slavery, except for punishment as a crime, see how incarceration rates of black men increase fourfold after that, right? These are things that you can go ahead and look into, educate yourself, and then educate others. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're around a group of white people, unfortunately, they're going to view you as safer to spew their racism. And any person who's white passing, like, I know people who are actually black, they have like a white mother, a black father, or a black father or a black mother and a white father, but they can pass for white. And every single time they said, anytime people think I'm white, they spew their racism towards me, or like they spew like racist stuff, like and stuff like that, right? So a person like you, when you hear stuff like that, you can educate them, and then you can educate yourself. Those are when we say that it's a responsibility, we're not saying to become president and put an executive order to give Black people reparations on day one. We know that's not possible. That's not likely to happen, right? What we're saying is that educate yourself, educate others, call it out when you see it. Make racists uncomfortable again.
Yeah, I think that would be like the furthest I would be willing to go.
That's really all you got to do. That's the bare minimum too. You can be an advocate too.
But now I have to ask a question.
Sure, go ahead, Jesse.
Why would that be the furthest you're willing to go if you saw some racist act happening around you?
Well, if everyone was to take that obligation and just keep it there, don't you think that the world would be a better place?
No.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay.
What?
So the world wouldn't be a better place if everyone treated each other as equals and everyone treated each other the same as they would treat themselves. That wouldn't make the world a better place.
No, I'm asking. No, you see, you're trying to flip it, and I'm gonna be very direct with you. That's what I meant,
and you asked something else.
Okay,
I didn't understand.
this is what I'm asking.
I'm trying to flip things. All right?
Don't overtalk me. I stayed quiet. I'm gonna explain this to you. What you said
I'm sorry, Jesse. I'm gonna let you go. Just a few more minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. Go ahead, Jesse.
This is the furthest you are willing to go. I asked in totality because you're giving a very dead set, you won't go any further. That's all you're going to do in the fight against racism. I asked you, so why is that the furthest you would go if you saw something happening? So you wouldn't call the cops if you saw Black women being attacked for being Black.
That's not what I mean, Jessica.
No, I don't know that's what you mean because I don't know you and I'm trying to understand.
No, that's not what I meant. Right?
So what do you mean then?
I'll say it again. Right? If I'm going to treat you like everybody else, and if I treat you as if I would treat myself, it doesn't matter who I see getting attacked. The cops would be called anyhow. So, there's no distinction.
Okay, would you speak out against it?
It doesn't matter what race it is. Speak out against it.
Okay, so then education isn't the furthest you would go. And this is what I'm trying to get to. At the end of the day, you have choices when it comes to systemic racism, when it comes to misogyny, when it comes to many things in this world. And just so you know, those passing people B is talking about, he knows me. He knows I'm one of them. Okay, so I do know those comfortable conversations people have when they think you're white and you're standing in that group. Okay,
yeah, I didn't know you were Black either.
I know for 100% that they exist. Education is great. Learning is great, and it is a block of what we need to fight the issue. But the other part of that is having people who are allies, who are willing to stand up and say, hey, I'm not okay with this, and speak out against it. And not just say, well, if it was anyone, saying, because it happened in this way, it is wrong. Yes, I think lynching is bad. In totality, I can say that. I think lynching and racism is even worse, right? Mm-hmm. So I have an obligation to say, I wouldn't just call the cops because I saw lynching. I would call the cops and I would speak out that this happened and let the world know that this happened because of this. And that's where you have a choice of how you want to be in this fight and who you want to be in this fight. Do you want to be an ally, or do you just want to be somebody who sits back, sees the problem, but never helps get to the solution?
Yeah, well, I guess my time up here is cooked. Well, thanks for having me up there, host. And
not a problem. Appreciate you. All right, thank you so much. And Jesse, I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much as well. You mind if I drop you down for just a little bit, please, Jesse? That's not a problem.
No, go ahead. I actually have to go. You take care, B.
You as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Oh yeah, and Jesse, House of Debate is still crazy. Just to let you know, it's still insane there. All right, we have Lumen on the line, and I do have someone over on my StreamYard named Thelonis. I'm sorry, Lumen. Give me a second. How do I say your name over on my StreamYard? Thelonious. There we go. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and make sure that people can see you. Thelonious, go ahead and still stay on mute for me, please. As you can see, there's someone right in front of you, but I'm going to make sure that I get to you right after I get to him. All right. Thank you so much, Thelonious. All right, Lumen, how's it going? You did say you're over 18, and I'm sorry. Which number did you want to talk about again?
Yeah, I would like to talk about number 1 and number 4, 5, because 4, 5 they're literally linked to each other.
All right, you want to talk about number 1. All right, cool. Number 1. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. Shoot. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. All right,
cool. My fridge.
All good. All right, number 1. Being woke is good. Let me ask you a question. You have more of an English accent. You're from the UK?
Yeah.
You live in the United States?
Yeah. No, UK. You
still live in the UK. All right. Are you part of the Windrush generation?
No.
No. Okay. So you're a white person from the UK or a black person from the UK?
Black person for the UK, but only the last 20 years.
Okay. So you are part of the Windrush. Okay. Wait. Your parents African or Caribbean?
Yeah. African.
Your parents are African. Okay, so you were not part of the Windrush generation. All right, that's not a problem.
It's a generation before me, basically.
Okay, it was a generation before you. Okay, cool, not a problem. All right, so when we say that being woke is good, what do you understand woke to mean? How was it over in the UK?
Being woke is literally educate yourself about the history, about literally everyone's history, all cultures' history, African history. Trying to understand exactly where every single human being coming from and what kind of a difficulty or oppression that they've been through.
Okay, that's not bad. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Now in the United States, it was about racial. It was about awareness of racial and social injustice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, great. So, do you disagree with that? That's a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Okay, why is being aware of racism a bad thing?
No. Sorry. It's a bad thing, but be aware of racism is a good thing because obviously it helps to actually educate people around you and, like she said, be allied. At the same time, I do agree also with the previous guy, that the white guy, that sometimes being woke can get you to a conclusion to understand that, oh yeah, we're all one race. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, of course. I don't think anybody necessarily disagrees with that, right? Like the Panthers, they were black nationalists, but they also advocated for the freedom and the liberation of all oppressed people across the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did that, but their primary focus was on black people. That was a thing, but they promoted liberation for all oppressed people. So no one disagrees with that, right? I'm not going to say that because I'm black, I'm not going to advocate for the Palestinians. Of course I am. You know what I mean? Because they're oppressed people and my liberation is tied to their liberation. You see what I'm saying? So we're not saying to don't care about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's not what being woke is about. Being woke is about being aware of that injustice, being aware of racism, racial injustice, and social injustice, and now that not just being aware of it, but advocating for our societies to become better. And that's a good thing, right? But over the years, conservatives, especially over in America, have transformed it some way, somehow, for some reason, into a bad thing. So now the question, now that's why I have number 1 there. Being woke is good because it benefits even them. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I agree with you on that one.
All right, great. Not a problem. So you said what else you want to talk about? Number 4?
4, 5. But to be honest, like I can summarize the whole 1 to 5 because it kind of dismiss the doctrine of God, basically the whole kind of premises of this 5 topics.
Yeah, I'm not a believer. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God.
Yeah, that's why I kind of see that, because as a Christian, it's not even as a Christian, it's a bit because I believe in the God, and then and you say his faith is reliable for finding truth.
Yes,
that's why I'm
correct. Faith is unreliable for finding truth, and I think even you would agree with faith being unreliable, because were the Egyptians correct
about correct about self education, but no spiritual correct? That's
right, exactly. So when it comes to the Egyptians believing that the sun was a dude with an eagle for a head sitting up in his bed, was that correct?
No.
Yeah, but they had faith in it. You know what I'm saying? So it was not reliable.
It was not reliable.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, faith is necessary to find the truth of your spirit, because faith is the door to show love to a non-sin creator. Because if you're worried about where you're going when you die, so therefore you need to start seeking with a pure heart, like, is that actually a creator? And then because that thought is a thought of faith, and then you will find the truth from that faith.
You know what problem you're running into?
What problem?
You haven't proved the spirit exists yet.
Just a simple thing. Like, this energy. I'm not talking about consciousness, because I hate when people say consciousness. This energy vibration or whatever into our brain and into our persons. So when you die, where's that energy goes? Because energy cannot be destroyed or cease to exist. The worms eat the flesh, but the energy. Imagine you're in your bed, your dead bed, and then you realize. Die instantly.
Yeah. Let me just clear this up, Lumen. You realize when I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about a property of a system, not an ethereal thing onto itself. That's all energy is. Energy is not some ethereal Dragon Ball Z Naruto thing, right? It's not a thing onto itself. It's a property of a system.
Yeah, I understand. My example was, you got energy vibration in your brain, and you got machine connected to you. As soon as you die, therefore there's no more energy impulses in you. So where's that energy when before you even get buried, before the worms eat it? When they check you don't have no more energy in you, just flesh.
No, it's the energy still there, because again, energy is a property of a system. It's not a thing onto itself.
So why the machine cannot dictate that energy?
What do you mean by when you said don't take the energy? You're talking about your consciousness?
Brain dead. You had energy in your brain, energy impulses, and they stopped to work. So where's that energy gone?
Right, your brain doesn't function anymore. Like it's gone. But again, those chemical reactions simply cease. That's all it is.
Where's that energy gone?
When you say energy, are you talking about a property of a system, or are you talking about like an ethereal thing onto itself? Because those would be two different things. Because it sounds like you're talking about the second one and not the first one. Because when it comes to the first one, the energy is still there. There's just no more processes happening, but the energy is potential at that point. It's not kinetic. Well, actually, there will be no more potential anyway because it's dead. So there's nothing there.
I will grant you that, but I believe there's no more energy. Like you said there's energy, but it's not processing properly. That's why your brain dead. But technically, the movement of certain neurons and certain electric impulses are not even there no more. So all the electric impulses are gone. So because energy cannot be destroyed, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should be transferred into a different type of energy, but you're not even buried yet. But you don't have no electric impulses in your brain, in your body at all. So what's that energy? Where is that energy gone?
It just goes from kinetic to potential. That's what I'm saying. Energy is a property of a system. It's not a thing unto itself. The way you're describing it is that it's a thing unto itself. It went somewhere. It didn't go anywhere. Is just
it can be converted to different things.
It's converted. Yeah, exactly. It converted from kinetic to potential.
But the potential, are you trying to say chemical energy?
Yeah, like chemical energy. You can still put chemicals into the brain. It's just not gonna function the way it should anymore.
You explain to me what you mean about potential energy.
Potential energy is basically this cup on my desk, right? This bottle of water on my desk has potential energy, but it's just standing there, right? It's not doing anything. But the moment I pushed it, that's kinetic. It fell over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's what energy is. It's just a property. It's not a thing.
Oh no, yeah. You know what? You're right. Not that you're right, but I'll give that to you because obviously I understand what you mean about the potential energy, the chemical energy within himself. Like, but the thing is, like, even the flesh at that instant, I don't think do have energy because that's why you become cold and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the potential energy you're talking about is very.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Significant.
So, yeah. I got you. So, like, the reason your body gets cold is because the cells that your homeostasis, your internal heat inside your body, it drops right when your brain doesn't regulate that heat anymore. So the cells in your body stops vibrating, and it goes from vibrating at a high state to vibrating at a very, very lower state until they stop vibrating and the worms eat it. So yeah, it's the energy is going down, right? You're not 98.6 degrees anymore. You're like 50 degrees inside, which means that the cells in your body are not vibrating at a higher state anymore. They're vibrating slower, which is why your temperature goes down. That's really what temperature is cells vibrating, or molecules, not cells, molecules vibrating at a certain rate. And when you die, they stop vibrating that way.
Yeah, lack of activity. That's why, the temperature drops. Yeah, I understand that one. You know, we agree with disagree with that one. But I think the faith in a God or in a creator allows you to find the evidence of that God. That's why 4 and 5 for me goes together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the thing is with me, like I always say, right, is like the reason why I say faith is unreliable is because of what we just said before. The Egyptians had a whole bunch of faith, but we know that they were wrong, and we knew they had a whole bunch of faith because they literally built like monuments that are still here today to the things that they had faith in, but they were wrong. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily lead you to what's true. Can it be useful? Yeah, it can be useful. But can it be reliable? No, I don't think it could be reliable because if you just go off of faith, you can believe multiple wrong things for no reason. I think you need more than that. You need more than just the belief or the hope. You need actionable things. You need to work. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, now I understand what you're trying to say. You say, you're trying to say like you can have faith, but your faith can lead you into something wrong, completely wrong, like the Egyptians. Oh, but me, I wasn't talking in a specific religion. That's why I say the creator. It's like you seek for that creator, and then he would show himself as evidence after seeking with true heart. Like the story of Abraham. Abraham grew up in society where they would believe in the parents would believe in statues and all that. But for him, because of the seeking, was like, these gods cannot talk, cannot move. So he seek from his heart. That's why the evidence of God came to him. That's all I'm trying to say. According to me, Jesus is that evidence that show himself. Anyway, what about the evidence of Jesus, the existence of Jesus?
Gotcha. Yeah, history. I got you. I'll say two things. The number one, I get what you're saying from before, right? The thing is for me that puts the cart before the horse. There should be proof that this thing exists first before I seek it, right? But the second thing that I would say is that Jesus actually existing, I don't have an issue with that. Yeah, Jesus could have existed. It's just what did he actually have the powers and stuff like that? That's what I have issues with. I don't have any issues with him existing as a person. Yeah, sure. He could have existed as a person. I don't have an issue with that.
Nice one. Oh, I guess you said you need evidence before you seek that. But exactly. As a human being, without complicity, and then as the nature and everything, like when you see everything that kind of complex and organized and stuff like that, with our organs and stuff, you're trying to seek you seek a creator. That's why he says that within everyone, we do believe that the creator somehow. And then unfortunately, some people don't believe that. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm sure you don't believe that. As a kid, you do believe like, yo, you might be a creator. You know what I'm saying? But because of knowledge, and sometimes we get
as children. I'm sorry. Yeah, but as children, I think scientists have found that, right? There's a proclivity for us to believe in more powers and stuff like that, and higher powers. And as we get older, we tend to not to. But that, I think that's just, a lot of it is our imagination. So I don't take kids as a big thing, but as far as the belief, right? Like, yeah, sure, I can get what people mean when they say they look out into the universe and seeing how beautiful it is, they think that something had to create it. And the thing is, I do still get a sense of awe and a sense of gratitude of me just looking out into the universe and seeing how small I am compared to everything else. I still get one of those spiritual experiences, right? I just don't tie it to something that's supernatural. I think that's just our sense of wonder, our sense of empathy, our sense of awe and gratitude that we exist, right? And I think you can still have a spiritual experience without tying it to any type of gods, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I appreciate you and I appreciate the conversation, very respectful. And I do agree with what you're doing. You're trying to make society better. You're trying to, like you said, systematic racism, erase certain things, and slavery and all those things that's happening in the society in the bad ways. And then I do believe the Bible as well do help to to make the society better. Like the guy said, treat your neighbor like yourself. Obviously, if everyone. But yeah, what you're doing is good. The only disconnect between you and me is because like there's no spiritual connection. That's all. But because you don't believe in spirits. Yeah, that's but yeah. I don't really have much to say, to be honest. Like, yeah.
No, not a problem. We could definitely talk again. Hey, come back on Sunday, because on Sunday that's when I go live with Black Atheist Rants, and we actually argue that Black people shouldn't be Christian, or why should Black people be Christian, which is always a good one. You know what I mean? So
that's a good one.
Yeah, you could always come back to that one. So if you would like, I don't know how many people you follow. You could drop me a follow. You can unfollow after we have the next conversation.
Yeah, I'll follow you now.
It's all good. Yeah. But so go ahead and come back on Sunday. If you miss me that Sunday, we try to go on every Sunday. So you can always come back and then we'll talk. All right.
No, I appreciate it. Good knowledge though. Nice one.
Not a problem. Hey, I appreciate you. You have a good one. All right.
All right.
All right, guys. I do appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to talk to Keyboard next. Keyboard, I'm not sure if you're still there, but come on back if you're still there. There he is. He's still there. All right, Keyboard, give me a few moments. Baptized in Christ, I'm going to go ahead and invite you up. I think we only spoke once, but it was on a panel, and we didn't get a chance to talk all the way. So Baptized in Christ, go ahead and come on up. I'm going to go ahead and send you an invite. Let's see. Oh, Jordan was answering somebody else. And who is this? I'm not sure who that is, but yeah, Baptized in Christ, go ahead and come on up, and then we can go ahead and have that conversation, since I think last time we couldn't really have one. Keyboard, give me one moment. I'm just going to go ahead and talk to my peoples real quick. If you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, I 100% appreciate you. Thank y'all so much. Once again, for everybody who's talking in there, saying anything about, systemic racism, once again, if you would like me to talk to me about systemic racism, because I can't see y'all comments, or I'm not looking at your comments, go ahead and join the link right here, tiny.cc/Volsi Live. You can go ahead and go to that website, and then we can go ahead and talk. I'll bring you on the stage, and we can have a conversation about systemic racism, because I do see a lot of comments talking about it. So let's go ahead and have that conversation. If you're watching me over on Volsi Thoughts, once again, you can go ahead and join me as well. Harry, over on my Volsi Thoughts, you told me that it's 1 o'clock in the morning where you are, so you're not gonna be able to join. But that was 30 minutes ago. So you might as well join me now. You know what I mean? That was 30 minutes ago when you said that, Harry. So you might as well join me. All right. If you're watching me over on the Black Atheist Coalition, I do agree with you. I do appreciate you there. Chi, over on the Black Atheist Coalition, thank you so much, Chi, for always being here, always supporting me. Chi is over, I think, in India, and he's always a supporter of mine. I appreciate you, Chi. Thank you so much. Big ups to you. If you're watching me over on Twitch or Facebook, I appreciate you there as well. Thank y'all so much for watching me over there. And we're going to move on with the conversation. All right. I hope Keyboard is still up. There he is. Keyboard, how's it going, Keyboard Warrior? Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm at least 18, and yeah, I want to talk about number 4.
All right, cool. Number 4. No good evidence for a God. Yeah, I do not believe that there is good evidence for a God. What evidence do you think that there is for one?
Yeah, we can just take some cosmological argument. I think fine-tuning motivates God's existence.
I don't think it does. Fine-tuning is simply, fine-tuning is just a consequence of the laws of physics. It's just what it is right now. I don't think that implies a God at all. It's
the consequence of the laws of physics.
Yeah, it's a consequence of physics. Like I don't see how that will lead to a God. Yeah, sure. Within certain parameters, atoms in life as we understand it wouldn't really exist. But so what? That doesn't mean that a God necessarily exists. That could just be.
No, I'm not talking about life permitting conditions. I'm simply talking about science being legible.
Science being legible? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is that when it comes to us understanding truths about the universe's past, we use this thing called CMBR. Now, CMBR, as we understand it, is just strong enough for us to be able to infer truths about the universe's past, particularly that of the Big Bang. Now, if it wasn't strong enough, we wouldn't be able to infer truths about the universe.
You're talking about the cosmic microwave background radiation? Let's make sure.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's just, thermal radiation left over from the Big Bang. What is that's a line of evidence for the Big Bang happening, but how does that lead us to a God?
Yeah, I'm saying this would lead us to a God in the sense that the way I understand God is just some entity, some limitless entity that seeks value. And we're able to recognize there are valuable things in this world. One of the things that are valuable in this world is the scientific is our scientific progression. We think our scientific theories progressing is a good thing. Right? And there's also valuable things that come from us being able to do science, such as cooperation, so on and so forth.
Yeah, but I mean, we had science before we discovered the Big Bang, right?
That's right. We did have science before we discovered the Big Bang. I'm just saying that our ability to do science would be expected under the God hypothesis.
Why?
Yeah, because I'm saying that since being able to do science is a valuable thing, and God is just some sort of limitless entity that seeks value, it wouldn't be surprising that we would see valuable things in this world.
I mean, but yeah, sure, you can. That's simply like an assertion. That's not telling me how that's true. But the second thing that I would say is that would still be the case if a God doesn't exist.
Why would it be expected we would see valuable things under a non-God hypothesis, particularly the naturalism one, because that's the one I think you subscribe to.
Because as human beings, right, like we're a social species. So if a social species needs to survive with each other, things such as empathy and finding value in other things is going to arise from that, like automatically. Like now our social species, we're the ones who took over the planet, right? Like lions are social species, but they didn't take over the planet. But the reason why we took over the planet is because of our ability to pass on information through our speech and think abstractly. Yeah, I mean, because we developed those things, that's why we develop value and everything like that. If a God doesn't exist, that would still be the case because we're still here, right? And we still value things. I'm not seeing how a God existing makes things now more valuable, because even if I don't believe in a God, I can still value things, right?
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that what I'm saying here is that even if evolution were to take its course, right? I'm saying what we can conceive of happening is that our science just doesn't work, right? Our ability to understand things about the universe just doesn't work at all. Our way of doing science just doesn't work.
The way we do science is empiricism, and God is not an empirical fact, so it will still work.
No, it wouldn't be able to work.
But science relies on empiricism, and God is not something that's empirical.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right.
But I'm saying our ability to do. No, I'm saying our ability to do science wouldn't be able to work.
Yes, it will, because we do science through empiricism.
No, wait, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay,
I'm saying that evolution can take its course. We evolve, we become rational species, we become social, so whatever and whatnot, right?
I'm saying then there's this thing that we develop to do, which is being able to perform science, our ability to measure and observe particular phenomena and test it. I'm saying those things require particular things in the world to be in a specific manner. I'm saying if it wasn't in that specific manner, we wouldn't be able to do this.
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't imply a God exists. Yeah, sure. For us to understand the sun, we have to actually see the sun. Sure. But just because that's the case, how does that imply a God exists?
Oh, I'm saying this would be our ability to do science would be expected under the God hypothesis, because the God, as I said, is just some limitless entity that seeks value.
But
so it wouldn't be surprising that our ability to do science would be present in this world, since our ability to do science is a valuable thing. But opposed to some hypothesis that's indifferent towards that.
But the thing is, like, our ability to do science is no different from whether there is a God or whether there isn't. The issue that I'm having with you is that you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. You're saying that our ability to do science depends on God existing, but you have to show that a God exists first.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying our ability to do, this is what I'm saying. Our ability to do science, that's the evidence. I'm saying this evidence would be more expected under some hypothesis that is somewhat biased towards our ability to do so.
Not necessarily. It wouldn't be surprising. What do you mean? What does that mean? You're saying that our ability to do science wouldn't be expected if there was no God? How do you know that?
No, I'm saying it would. I'm saying it wouldn't be expected if it was indifferent.
How do you know that?
Just give an example. Yeah, I can just give an example. Just take two cases. Someone that is biased towards getting a high score on a test, and then there's just something that's indifferent opposed to getting a high score on the test. Well, we can just say definitively here, if someone is biased towards getting a high score on the test, it's more likely they would get a high score on the test.
Yeah, sure.
Right, and if someone was indifferent towards that, well, it'd probably be less likely, since they most likely just wouldn't care.
Right,
that's just the comparison there.
But the universe is not a test, right? So it's like the universe is something that just exists, and we need to survive in it. So we invented a process called science in order to understand it better. Like, it is not uninspected if the universe is indifferent, because the universe isn't different. Our universe doesn't care if we live or die or not.
No, I'm saying, well, the universe in this case wouldn't necessarily be the test. The universe in this case would be the score that you would get on the test.
The universe would be the score that we get on the test.
That's correct.
Okay,
because before you even take the test, right, what we're looking for is the kind of score you would get. But the
problem of having keyboard is that you haven't shown that a proctor for the test even exists yet. You're simply just claiming that there is one.
No, I don't have to show that there's some sort of proctor. Well, I'm just saying that the taking of the test, right, that would just be quote unquote God, right? Now the question is, the question is well, if some entity was, when I mean biased, right, that's just what I'm employing as some sort of designer, some limitless entity that is disposed towards value. Now, under the naturalistic case,
what I'm saying is that you have to show that exists first before you're saying that's what the universe is.
I'm showing I'm saying that the evidence would be more predicted under this datum, that if such entity existed, as you already agreed, some entity that is biased towards getting a high score on the test would be more likely.
The problem is that you're simply asserting that to be the case. You haven't shown that it is the case. You have to show that the thing exists first before you assert that.
Yeah. I already gave evidence in favor of its existence.
No, you didn't. You're simply saying that. It exists because we discovered science.
That's not. So that's a straw man. That's not what I'm saying.
All right. I'm really not understanding what you're.
Okay, so maybe we should just backtrack. So let me just give you an example so I can show you what I'm talking about.
Oh no.
Say you walk outside.
Do this for me. How do we show that a God exists?
First, we'd have to show broadly, right? We have to go to the barest form, right? First, God is just going to be a subset of a design hypothesis, right? So a design hypothesis is just going to be some entities behind the universe in some fashion, and some entities responsible for the universe in some fashion.
All right, cool.
Right? God is just a subset of that.
Right. So
now we motivate
this. That's a hypothesis. Okay. What evidence falsifies this hypothesis?
What do you mean falsify this hypothesis?
Because that's how science works. Right? You have to falsify the hypothesis. You have to prove the hypothesis false. And if you fail to prove it false, then that means that it's likely true.
Oh, sorry. So what we do when we're trying to figure out how to falsify this hypothesis, first we have to determine whether we look at theoretical considerations. Whether it's simple, whether whether the hypothesis has arbitrary limits, so on and so forth. So I mean, an example would just simply be, well, let's just say we walk outside at night and we see the stars perfectly spell out the first 50 digits of pi, right? Now, I think the most reasonable thing here is to think that some entities behind the stars looking like this, more so than saying, well, it just happened to be that way. I think the latter explanation is just very confused. Or
do the stars spell out pi?
The first 50 digits.
Do they do that?
Yes, perfectly.
No, they don't.
I'm saying they perfectly spell out pi. That's just what I'm stipulating.
No, they don't.
What are you saying? No, they don't.
What I'm saying is that your claim that the stars do that is untrue. They don't.
I'm stipulating in the hypothetical they do.
Oh, you're stipulating in the hypothetical they do. Okay,
yes.
Cool. That's in your hypothetical. Okay, great. But I'm not asking for your hypothetical. I'm asking for your hypothesis right now. What do you do to falsify it?
I already told you look at theoretical considerations.
All right. What are those?
Whether it's simple or we're just you understand. I think you understand parsimony, yes?
If it's simple, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if it's simple or if it has arbitrary limits.
All right. So that if that's the falsification, then that falsifies your hypothesis, because it's more simpler to say that there is no God in this world, is our universe is completely arbitrary and indifferent, than saying that there is one and he put in all these things in order for us to discover him. Because why would he do that? What was the motivation there? How do we know it even exists? You have to make more and more assumptions and more and more explanations, when the simplest explanation is that there probably isn't one.
Yeah. So that's something you can say, but I put in conjunction there's two things. It's whether one is there's arbitrary limits, and two is it's simple. Now the problem with the whole saying, well, let's just say there is no God. There's no mind behind it. There's no entity behind it. Okay, cool. What exactly is behind the universe being discoverable or able to do science? Well, it's just some brute coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's a brute coincidence that our universe is discoverable. Okay. Then there's the problem of, well, if it's a brute coincidence that our universe is discoverable, well, what explains the life permitting conditions of humans? Or life permitting conditions anyway. Well, that would also be a brute coincidence. And then we start stipulating more and more brute coincidences, and now we just have a problem.
No, we don't have any problem. Like life is probably an emergent property. It's a consequence of physics and chemistry. That's pretty simple.
No, well, that would just be a brute coincidence.
It is.
Yeah. I'm saying that the problem is now, well, when we're looking at a particular hypothesis, someone says, well, this happened. Okay. It's like, okay, this happened. Explain how this happened. Oh, well, why did it happen this way? Well, I don't know. It just happened that way.
Yeah. We
okay.
Don't know.
Well, what about this hypothesis you're under this umbrella? It's
right,
it just, how did this happen? Well, it just happened that way.
It just happened that way.
So how many brute coincidences are, well, it's just a simple, I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point, the hypothesis just loses traction.
No, I mean, but the thing is, if you go the other way, you're just doing a God of the gaps.
No, you're not doing a God of the gaps. What you're doing is no. We're not doing a God of the gaps, because what you want to say here is not to say, well, God is the reason for this. No. What you want to say is that it's more expected under the design hypothesis. We would see the data. No, fine tuning is not. No, that's not God of the gaps, because design hypothesis includes other conceivable designers that isn't God. You can do simulation hypotheses. You can say some entity that has enough power to create universes is behind it, but it's not necessarily God. There's so many conceivable notions of designers that don't imply the God that you're thinking of.
That's particularly God of the gaps.
No, that's not God. How is a simulation hypothesis God of the gaps? No one considers simulation hypotheses God.
All right. So but the simulation hypothesis is like what? Like the universe is a simulation?
Yes.
Right,
some aliens are responsible.
So some aliens are responsible. Okay, great. How do we show that?
Yeah, we conditionalize on what we use our background information about minds.
Our background information about minds, from what we know about minds, that they don't exist without a brain. So,
well, what we know about minds is that they grasp abstract. Well, what you say is actually that's more of a consideration. But they grasp abstract. They're able to do.
Here's what I'm saying.
They know language and stuff like. It's a lot of things.
I got you. But this is what I'm saying. When we ask what permitted these life permitting conditions, right? Yeah, sure. These are things that are very. They have to do with like cosmology, with geology, with chemistry, with physics. It has to do with all those, and I don't think either one of us have much of the expertise to explain all of it, right? So yeah, but we're just having a conversation. It isn't just a brute fact of reality that these things are just a consequence of physics and chemistry. That's just that's what it is. But just because that's a brute fact doesn't mean that because there's a certain point where we can't explain it anymore means that the other opposite now has to be true, or that it's more expected under that. Because I'm not seeing how those two things follow. Why is it more expected under that hypothesis instead of a naturalistic one? Because under a naturalistic one, they have evidence, or they have mountains of evidence to show that yes, this is a natural consequence. Under the other hypothesis is that, oh well, it could be aliens or some shit. Like we don't have any evidence here.
Well, the problem is that like I told you before, under the naturalistic hypothesis, is indifferent towards valuable things. There are valuable things in this world, so such that those things are going to be surprising. So under some hypothesis, I'm not sure what that's that even indifferent.
Means, bro. So what thing? If the universe is indifferent, we still value things. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, I'm saying yes. Our ability to value things, or just valuable things existing, is indifferent. That is indifferent. The natural laws are indifferent towards that.
Yeah.
So that again, like I said to you earlier with the test example, if someone's indifferent towards taking a test and getting a high score, the likelihood of them getting a high score is low.
Right, but
they're not disposed getting a high score. That's just the same thing.
Is really not. You're simply saying because we value things, therefore God. That's really a long way of saying.
No. Again, you keep saying therefore God. That's not what I'm saying.
I know.
I am saying this are a valuable. Listen, it's not a therefore God type of thing. This is a probabilistic.
It's a long way of saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a long way of saying it.
Well, that's the wrong way of saying it.
No, it's a long way of saying it. You're literally you're just going the long way around, bro.
No, it's not. Because again, this is probabilistic. It could be the case that this just is not God. Right? It could just be Earth. It could be the case that it's just all natural, or it could be all simulation, or all just tricking ourselves.
But you're saying that it's that's more what I'm saying.
It's not therefore God. That's the wrong way.
But what I'm saying is that it's more expected if a God exists.
Okay, yeah, but that's a probabilistic assertion.
Right. But what I'm saying is that if you're saying that our values are we're more likely, the reason that we value things is more likely expected if a God exists. You're literally that's literally a long way of saying we value things, therefore God.
No, that's not the long-winded saying of things, because because when you say therefore God, that's a conclusive, definitive answer. There is no you can be wrong about that. Probabilistic assertions recognize humility. Right? We could definitely be wrong. I could definitely be wrong.
So what are you saying?
Therefore not be God. It could be some alien behind this.
Okay, so you're saying that that we value things, therefore they might be a creator.
I'm saying we value things, therefore it might be a designer. There might be a designer behind this.
All right, why though? Just because we value things, I don't see how that's more likely.
Yeah, because there are more. Yeah, the reason why I would say this is more likely, because under the broad design hypothesis, there are more plausible designers that would care about us valuing things, opposed to that of the hypothesis that's indifferent towards that. And if there are more entities that are biased towards us, being able to value things than under the naturalistic hypothesis, then it wouldn't be unreasonable for us to expect that the design hypothesis would be able to predict this. Because as I said before, if the naturalistic hypothesis is broadly indifferent, as they are, because laws are indifferent, the whole universe is indifferent to whether or not we value things or not, or whatever, what the fuck. It's just less likely that what we would see is entities that values things at all, or if there are any value.
But that's not necessarily true. Just because the universe is indifferent doesn't mean that we'll be less likely to have creatures that value things. That doesn't follow.
Why does it not follow?
It simply doesn't. Simply saying that.
I mean, that's just stating the thing that's in contention there.
Hold on. You're saying that the universe is indifferent. Therefore, creatures in the universe are likely to also be indifferent. That doesn't follow.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if the universe is indifferent, what we would expect, what would be indifferent towards value, what would be surprising is entities being able to value things.
That doesn't
with the
follow.
presence
That's
of valuable.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't follow.
You're saying it doesn't follow just because.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
You're just saying it follows just because. That's not an answer. That's just restating the thing. When you ask me why does it follow? Why does it follow if God existed?
What I'm saying is that,
or if a designer.
What I'm saying is that's a non sequitur. You can't say that because the universe is indifferent, and then it would simply be surprising that we value things. That's a non sequitur, bro. That doesn't follow.
Well, yeah, and I asked you why it doesn't follow. You just simply said because it just doesn't. You see how that just doesn't work?
Hey.
Why would it be expected for entities to value things? And I gave you the reason. The reason would be is because there's enough plausible designers under the broad design hypothesis that are biased towards towards us being able to value things. There's some sort of bias towards, and we understand when something is more biased towards doing something, it's more likely the data would do it. Right. That's the thing.
So what I'm saying is that the universe and us existing as conscious beings are two separate things, right? So just because that there's an indifferent universe, we exist as conscious beings within this indifferent universe. The indifferent universe doesn't control or our minds or our consciousness, or it doesn't do anything that we do. We're separate things. So simply saying that because the universe is indifferent, therefore it's surprising that we value things. That's why it doesn't follow, because the universe is not us is not the same thing as us. Not in your hypothesis.
Are we the byproduct of the universe?
Are we a byproduct of the universe?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, sure. You can say that. You can say that.
Then my criticism still follows.
No, it doesn't. Despite us being a byproduct, that doesn't mean that the universe is us. Basically, the indifference of the indifferenceness.
The universe is us. The universe doesn't have to be us.
Right. The universe doesn't have to be. If the universe doesn't have to be us, then simply saying that the universe being indifferent means that it's surprising that we're not indifferent. That you just show why it doesn't follow.
No.
We're not the same thing.
Listen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying because the universe is indifferent, what we would expect to see is humans that are indifferent. No, I'm saying
it's surprising that we are. No, it's not.
No, it's
the reason why it's not surprising is because we are
things.
Right. What I'm saying is that the reason why it's not surprising is because we are a social species. If we weren't a social species, then it would be surprising. But we are a social species, so it's not surprising. Why
would the universe care whether or not you're a social species?
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. We're not the same thing. It's not a problem here.
You do not need to be the same thing.
Keyboard. The universe is not the same thing as us. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, I already agree with that.
All right. So the universe is indifferent. Things that we value have zero to do with the universe. Nothing.
The things that we value are byproducts of the universe's existence. What are you talking about?
Correct, but it has nothing to do with the universe.
If the universe doesn't care about that, it would be surprising these things are valuable to us.
No, it wouldn't be, because we're still a social species.
We're a social species that view things through a subjective reality point of view.
Why would the universe care about that?
Via nature nurture. What you're doing is you're opposing some kind of creator for something that could be a naturalistic product of the naturalistic function.
What you're not understanding, sir.
Hold on. Let me finish. The naturalistic function of the naturalistic cosmos. You are a product of that, yes, but you have a subjective reality that puts name to form and
that's a byproduct of the universe.
No, that's not a byproduct. That's a byproduct of you with your senses.
If it's a byproduct of me, then it's a byproduct of the universe. That's all that follows.
It's interconnected, yes, but you are the one that's giving it name and form. You are the one that's giving it titles. You are the one that's trying to map it and navigate it because you want a sense of purpose. When it could actually be, it is what it is and always has been.
Well,
you were doing it based upon your own
attachments. Map it. You're not understanding. I'm saying that our ability to map it, our ability to say these things
another
are
thing,
valuable.
you're throwing out infinite notions.
Sir.
Hold on.
Our ability
Hold on.
to recognize the things.
Everybody pause. Here's the problem that I'm having. Every time where I bring up that we're a social species, you ask why would the universe care about that? It doesn't have to, bro. The universe doesn't have to have any type of feeling at all. So it's like when you ask that question, I'm very, very confused. You're trying to invoke the universe having some sort of will, but it doesn't need to.
No, I'm not invoking that.
Yeah,
I'm saying if
the moment you said, hold on,
care.
Key. The moment you said, why would the universe care about us being a social species? You're invoking a will. If you're not invoking a will,
I agree. The universe doesn't have a will. The universe is completely indifferent towards us being social species. But you're saying value arises from being a social species. Right. I'm saying if value arises from social species, and us being a social species is a byproduct of the universe's existence, meaning what we came from is simply the matter and leftovers of the universe being created, or whatever. If the universe, or if the universe has already been here, whatnot, whatever your model of the universe is. I'm saying if that's the case, if the universe is completely indifferent towards that, it's completely surprising, because from the claim, let's just say the claim is the universe exists. Right? We can say, if you were to know that, how the hell would you know from just knowing that the universe exists, that there would be social species that would be able to value things? How would you make that inference?
That's
the problem.
No, it's not. That's not a problem at all. Just because we're not able, hold on. Just because we're not able to predict that, we're not able to predict what's going to happen a billion years in the future. But just because we're not able to predict,
no.
I'm not done. I'm not done. I'll let you go.
Oh, go ahead.
Just because we won't be able to predict that does not necessarily now mean that us being social species valuing things is now surprising. It doesn't mean that at all. We're just not able to predict. That's all it means.
Okay, can I ask you a few questions?
We've been on this for a while. I'm sorry, keyboard, but I do gotta go ahead and move on. I do appreciate you though.
Yeah, no problem.
Not a problem. All right, Zeki, how's it going, Zeki?
Yeah, it's great.
We're gonna go ahead and move on. Give me 1 second. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so Harry, over in my Volsy Thoughts channel, you told me an hour ago that it was 1 o'clock in the morning where you are, and you were gonna go, and you're still here. Yeah, I mean, you might as well join, bro. You might as well join. Harry, I'm gonna send you the link again because you've been here for an hour and a half, and you told me since an hour ago that it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you're not gonna join, and you've been here for an hour and a half. You might as well should have joined. Like it made no sense for you to be here for an hour and a half and not never go away. All right, so if you're watching me over from the Black Atheist Coalition, I do appreciate you there. Keep those numbers pumping. I thank y'all so much for watching me. If you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, on the Black Atheist Coalition, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Go ahead and shout out to Chi for being in in the Black Atheist Coalition. And if you're watching me over from Volsy Thoughts, go ahead and join. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a good one. All right, we're back with Zeki. Zeki, how's it going? I think we spoke yesterday. Great. Are you at least
a bit? So we speak a bit.
Cool. Are you at least 18? And which number did you want to talk about?
28. Let's talk about the keyboard.
So, you want to talk about what?
What the keyboard was talking about.
Bro, you sound like you're underwater. You're gonna have to speak up or something.
Okay. Do you hear me now?
That's a little better. What did you want to talk about?
Number 4.
Number 4. Yeah, I don't think there's any good evidence for a God. What evidence do you think that there is one?
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question. Where did the universe come from?
Zekti, real quick. Did you say earlier today the N word?
Can you just shut up? I'm trying to talk.
Wait, hold on. I actually want to answer that question answered. Which N word did you use?
I didn't use any N word. He keep following me around.
Okay, yeah. He says he didn't use any N word. If you can show me a recording, Satham, then I'll believe you.
It's not me that heard him. It's another person he was on Bars Live. But
he was on Bars Live.
And someone said that in the comments that he had said an N-word. I talked to him this morning on Fluff's Live, and then he crashed out and ran. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what. Can you just say this, Zekti? Say, Wallahi, I did not use any type of N-word against any race. Go ahead.
He's a Muslim Shia, so I'm not gonna talk to him.
Wait, Satham is a Shia Muslim, so you don't want to talk to him?
Yeah.
So just because he's a Shia Muslim doesn't mean you can't talk to him. Y'all both Muslim, right?
No. I have a problem with him specifically. That's all.
Oh, you have a problem with him specifically? Okay, so you can talk to Shia Muslims.
Yeah.
Can you talk to Nation of Islam Muslims?
Nation of Islam.
Yeah, you heard the Nation of Islam, right? Malcolm X.
No, there is no nation.
You never heard the Nation of Islam?
Is that like a music group or something?
No, it's a Muslim group. You ever heard of Malcolm X?
Malcolm X. I don't know. Is he a singer maybe?
Do you live in the United States or do you live in across the seas?
Across the seas.
That's why you never heard of Malcolm X. All right, cool. Not a problem. All right, cool. Satham, stay up for me. I do appreciate you though. All right, so I really hope you didn't say the N-word because I don't want to look crazy. Because if you did, I'm gonna block you, bro. But all right, so Zeki, number 4. No good evidence for a God. You said you were going to ask me a few questions. I don't think that there is any good evidence. I think evidence is something that you can demonstrate, something that's demonstrable, demonstratable, verifiable, things like that. What do you think evidence is?
Okay, does logic and rationality, you take them as a basis for evidence or no?
Rationality?
And logic.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, you can say that.
Okay. Where did the universe come from?
The universe expanded from a hot, dense state.
Okay, so the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Big Bang theory say the matter came from a single point. It came the matter, but where did the antimatter goes?
Where does the what go?
The antimatter.
What do you mean by antimatter?
Okay, there is matter and antimatter. When you
antimatter. Where did antimatter go? Oh, I don't know.
So if you think the theory works or that theory is what your answer, it needs to have at least the basis of logic and rationality to even put it as a theory. So
sure,
the fact that it doesn't even have basis for it, because if you make matter without telling us where the antimatter goes, and they didn't nullify each other, and they created the hot gas of the start, then it's not theory in the first place. It's exactly it's a faith. It has nothing to do with rationality or logic.
It's not faith. It's not faith. It's simply saying that we don't know why this was the case. That's all it's saying.
Yes,
but we have. Hold on. Well, all these things that we don't know why this was the case. The antimatter that should have been created at the Big Bang, where is it? What happened to it? We don't exactly know yet. However, if we have if we have cosmic microwave background radiation, if we have redshifting of galaxies, we have everything to show that the universe, yes, is expanding. Then and our mathematical models also match up with this. Then that's strong indication, that's strong evidence for the Big Bang happening. This mystery that we have about it doesn't simply make it all to not true anymore. It's simply like we just have a mystery here. That's all it is. It doesn't show that's not logical. The logic is still there. The evidence shows that if the universe is still expanding in all different ways, then then certain point in the past, it must have been smaller and hotter and denser. If it's showing that galaxies are redshifting, which means they're moving away from us, that means that sometime in the past, it must have been closer. If we see the cosmic microwave background radiation, the radiation going everywhere, then that means at a certain point, if you reverse it with our mathematical models, then that means that it was at a certain point, it was closer and hotter and denser. That's all that is logical. You know what I'm saying? This mystery that we have about antimatter is just a mystery.
Then we have the other argument, the fine-tuning of the constant of gravity. Do you know what is the constant of gravity's power number?
I don't know the number.
It's power to the 5. Yes, it's power to the 28. If it changed even by one constant, one number in that astronomical number, matter and atoms won't exist. Do you think that's coincidence?
Yes.
By logic and rationality. No, use logic and rationality.
Yes, that's a coincidence.
Yeah, you didn't use logic and rationality.
Yes, I did. That was a coincidence. That's a coincidence. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Zeki. Satham, what's up, bro? Oh wow. He dropped. What happened? What happened?
Would you say? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Would you say that whole conversation was philosophical in nature?
I would say it's pretty stupid in nature, but yeah, it was pretty much philosophical. Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because Islam is pretty clear on this. The ruling on studying philosophy is that it is impermissible. It is haram. You are Islam doubt. By the way, just so for your information, side about me, I'm not a Shia. I'm not a Muslim at all. I'm an agnostic atheist.
Okay, gotcha.
Just called to be filthy and disgusting. I had asked him this morning what his denomination was, and he assumed that I was a Shia. And then he's like, "Oh, he's a Shia. He's a Shia. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk to him." Same shit that he pulled out. But anyway, philosophy is haram because in Islam it says you are not supposed to ask questions because doubt is kufr. Doubt itself is disbelief. Because you're supposed to have complete and total, overwhelming, just blind like subservience to this ideology. Because it's a cult. That's how cults work, right? Anyway, just wanted to. So you maybe want to next time preempt this whole conversation. All you got to say is philosophy is haram. Anyway.
Philosophy is haram. Yeah, that's that's amazing. Hey, Zaitham, I appreciate that. Thanks for telling me that. I learned something new about Islam every single day. Y'all always teaching me something, but I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'll drop. I'll be around if you need me or anything. Bye.
Hey, not a problem. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Bye.
All right, guys. We're at 2 hours. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here in a second. Caddy, you got anything else last thing for us?
No, not really, man. I think that a lot of people, do not understand science very well and do not understand the theories that are out there very well. And they want their theory that they hold sacred to be the one, you know what I mean? Especially, monotheists, they look at finite notions and they go, that's the one. But scientifically, there's equal amount of footing for infinite theories versus finite theories. And because you can't accept that is because you have a, attachment to your organized theory of what you think or your organized identity completely. And as for the Advaita Vedantins, who are supposed to be doing neti, not this, and not having the discussion because they're entirely trying to get rid of their identity, the whole idea of identity. And the truth is one and the wise call it by many names. That is also a thing in there. So when they start to nitpick at Islam or they start to get all these classifications and these ideas of identity, these are attachments and these are false notions under the philosophical philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, which is supposed to be doing completely neti, not this. It's they get into these political nationalist debacles.
Yeah. Not a problem. Hey, Caddy, I appreciate you, man. Definitely come by next time. All right. Appreciate you. Come by not this Monday, but Monday the let me see what Monday is. That's gonna be. Let's go look at the calendar. All right, but not the Monday coming up, the Monday afterwards. That's when I'm gonna finally start doing my Masculinity Monday series, where we're gonna talk about healthy forms of masculinity and all that. All right. So definitely come by for that one.
No problem. When is that again?
Not the Monday coming up, but the Monday after. Let me see if I can find a calendar. Give me a second. Let me look at my computer calendar. Yeah, not the 8th, but the 15th. All right. So come through on the 15th.
The 15th? All right, yeah. What time?
15th, probably around the same time, around like 7 o'clock. We're gonna start doing our positive masculinity series.
Central or Eastern?
Oh, Eastern.
Eastern? Okay, that would be 6 my time.
6 years old. All right, cool. Come by around that time so we can start doing our masculinity series. All right.
I'll try to catch it.
Not a problem. Hey, I appreciate you though, Caddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. I do appreciate you all for being here. Thank y'all so much. It has been a very good night. Y'all. So next time, go ahead and join me. I will be on tomorrow as well. And like I said, on the 15th on Monday, I will be doing positive masculinity. That'll be my series for men's mental Men's Mental Health Month. The reason I can't do it next Monday is because I got classes, I got things going on. So the Monday afterward, I will definitely be able to do it. I do appreciate you all for being here. You guys are wonderful. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all. Always remember to always be secure, be affectionate, be wise, be flexible, and be trustworthy. Be soft. Hold on. I may have one last person, y'all. May have one last person. I have Killian on the stage. Killian, how's it going? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about something on the board?
Yeah. What do you define as systemic racism?
Systemic racism is basically bias. Typically, well, right now it's against Black people mostly. We see it existing in the criminal justice system. We see it existing in healthcare and in real estate, and in the education system, I think, as well.
Gotcha. So bias against Black people. So
Negative
would that
bias.
include bias against white people?
It would if that was happening, but it's
Well, yeah, by your definition, there's a Black person who has a bias against white people by that definition, and they're in healthcare, then that would be systemic racism against white people by your definition. So
No,
you want to
not-
track?
no,
you
no,
want to
no.
walk back your dog shit
No,
definition, or do you want
no,
to die on
no,
that hill?
no, 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 no.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah,
No, no,
yeah,
Killian,
yeah, yeah,
Killian,
yeah,
Killian,
yeah,
Killian.
yeah, yeah.
We're talking
Yeah,
about systems, not just individuals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay?
I give you
We're
the
talking
example.
About, we're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
we're talking about systems.
That
not
wasn't your
individuals.
definition. That wasn't
Okay,
your
cool.
definition. Now you're gonna walk it back.
So
Now
we're
you're
gonna
gonna
go
walk
ahead
it back.
and we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I do appreciate for y'all being here. Because I don't know what that guy's problem was. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all's have a good night. Always be safe. All right. Appreciate y'all. Be secure. Be affectionate. Be wise. Be flexible and be thoughtful. Y'all have a good night.